Hey, it's your girl Kia from A Bit of Truth, and I'm here today with our crew. It's your girl O.
Yo, what's good is dead.
What's good? Just that smiles.
And today we're going to be talking about how much of an impact is social media having on our youth. I feel like this is a good topic to talk about and discuss and get everybody's perspective on because I feel like our youth today is very, very heavily influenced by social media. They feel like they have to look a certain type of way. They feel like they have to, portray like they get in this amount of money and not realizing that that's not a lot of people's reality. So with them feeling like, okay, I need to have my Instagram followers up, I need my TikTok followers up, this is how I'm gonna get a bag. It's just a lot of influence, not even only in a financial aspect, but in a mental aspect too. Because a lot of our youth today have mental issues because of the internet bullying, because they can't take and they don't have that tough skin that we have to overlook the idiocy of people in ignorance in their comments. Um, Prime example, I have a teenager who has social media and she was looking at stuff on social media that was, I'm gonna say, gruesome in a sense because depending on your algorithm on TikTok determines what you look at. Like if you like certain things, that's basically a lot of what you're gonna see. So when you get into different algorithms and stuff like that on social media, it tends to pop up more recent. So it caused her to be depressed because it wasn't nothing but negative things and a lot of depressing things. So it caused her to suffer from depression. And I'm like, well, in my mind, why the hell is you looking at it? Delete the app. But it's not as easy because for whatever reason, this generation that's coming up now is like they're so in need of having to have technology. They have to have a phone. They have to have an Apple Watch. They have to have an iPad. And if they don't, it's like their world is fucking over. And I just think that's the craziest thing because it's like us as adults, yeah, we have social media, but a lot of times we don't pay attention to what someone looks like or how much money somebody else has. Like that shit is not important to me because in my mind, I know that could be a facade or a front for something bigger. You know? Oh, what do you think?
Honestly, I don't have much to say about it because my experience is, what could I say? Like my kids are not into social media like that. Well, my middle son and my youngest son, I don't think they are um what can you say? I'm losing my words here. I don't think they're so much influenced by social media. We are gamers. The whole household is a gamer. We like video games. As far as social media, my kids are on YouTube watching other kids and other adults play video games. My middle son, he is into learning. Like he looks up all kinds of other stuff. So my experience, I really don't have any. Um, as far as somebody else, like, I have nieces and nephews. They're really not into it. All the parents that I know, honestly, don't really let their kids get into all the social media stuff. But the things that I see online is concerning. These children that are taking their lives because of social media, the ones that are on there crying out and apparently have been crying out for weeks and nobody knows it. And they take their own life on social media. That is a problem. Um, I don't know where that problem's coming from because it's not going on in my home, but I'm not blind to not see that around the world that other people's children are dying. because of social media, because of influences, because of jealousy and people hating on them and telling them that they're ugly and this, that, and the third. Like, it's crazy. But it reminds me a lot of high school, because when I was going to high school, everything was about your clothes. And if you didn't dress a certain way, you got picked on. And there were teenagers taking their lives because their parents couldn't afford the clothes that everybody else made it acceptable to wear. But, that's kind of my take on it. I'll give the floor to someone else.
So with me, I think social media is very negative, has a negative impact on children because nowadays it's kids stealing cars because somebody showed online how to steal a Kia, how to steal a Hyundai, and now I have a Kia Soul, and now I gotta put a crowbar on my wheel, and I'm scared that every day I come outside that they're gonna discover how to get the crowbar off because social media has shown them how to hack people's vehicles. And to me it was like, dang, um, how could you know what I mean? It's like they stealing cars from everywhere, everywhere. So now everywhere I go, I park my car, go to the grocery store, I gotta put the crowbar on. I don't trust certain neighborhoods. If I see kids walking around, I'm like, nope, kid boys out, kid girls out. And it's like, dang, now I can't even do what I need to do because I'm scared that I'm gonna walk into the store just for a hot second and come back out, my car gone, or they bust my window out stealing my handicap placard. Like, it's just, what do you need a handicap placard for? What do you need this car for? Then they want to show off that they doing this, and they get locked up for a second, they get pulled right back out in the streets. And it's like, where's the parents at? But it's not even necessarily just the parents. You know what I mean? You know what I mean? Sometimes I put it on the parents and say, why is the parents not watching what their kids are watching online or what they're watching on social media? Why are you not supervising them and making sure that that's appropriate? I have a 4-year-old that was playing around with her aunt and then was like, hold on real quick. Let me get my tablet. Let me get my tablet. And then so she starts recording. She said, hey y'all, this is so and so. Thank you for watching my channel. Me and my aunt, we about to tussle. And I'm like, hold on. You watching YouTube too much. And it's just like, now it's like, I don't even want you watching YouTube because what are you watching for real? Because if you felt like you had to prop your phone up just to do this as a moment with your aunt, it's crazy. I mean, I don't know what's going on through these kids' mind that they feel like they could do whatever they see on YouTube, whatever they see on TikTok, whatever they see on Facebook, Instagram, all that stuff. It has a very negative impact on the children altogether. So for me, I think it's negative. I don't be wanting my kids on YouTube, um, and especially YouTube. I don't like IG, TikTok, and stuff like TikTok. Just show you different dances. I don't mind them doing different dances. Just make sure it's appropriate dancing. But other than that, I just think it's it's mind blowing. Especially, what you think, Smiles?
Uh, Honestly, I'm in between. I can't really choose a side because I feel like it's good and bad with everything. And I believe that even though everyone's child or children are going to do whatever they want to do, eventually, I feel like the parents is where it starts, because back in the days, granted, we all was outside more than the generation that, we deal with now. However, we still had strong influences. We still had BET, VH1, TRL, um, the radio stations, the DVDs, CDs. Like, we still fought. There's still people, on three ways talking crap about us. Like, it was a lot of things that we was into where it was still negative and drama as well. We had wrestling, and our parents was there to teach us that some parts of wrestling was fake. Um, when you saw rappers with all the money, our parents had to be the ones to teach us, hey, that's money that's borrowed. That's an advancement. An advancement. That's fake money that they're flashing in the videos. Everything that you see on these music videos is not real. And I feel like that's the same with today's society. Everything that's on social media is fake, is flabbergasted. People could be living in a cardboard box, but they will only show stuff that's fake or partially real. That's what we leave to parents to break it down for these kids. And yes, society is horrible now with social media. However, this world is still the same. It was still the same without it. It's just now everybody is seeing it as it should be, because people need to know that this world it has always been trifling. It has always been a mess. Always. But the positive things about social media is that now we're catching cops that kill Black people, like George Floyd. If there was no social media, how would we know that the cops that did it, we would have known that they did it. I believe they would have got away with it if it wasn't for social media. There's people that's spiritual. It's what you follow. It's what you're being taught. You are in charge of your own views of how social media goes. You're in charge of that. Social media should not be the blame. People behind social media should be the blame. If you know yourself, then you should know what to partake in and what not to partake in. Because no matter if we have social media or not, the negativity is still going to be there, just swept underneath a rug. But it's still going to be there. That's just how I see it. So I can't, the only thing I don't like is the fact that the generation is more inside than outside. That's what I don't like, because there's not a lot of kids that's outside playing around like how we was. But at the same time, we was outside all times of the night doing God knows what. Now, what if that was on social media? Then we all, I mean, I don't know. I just feel like it's what you do with it. Your parents is really who is supposed to be teaching you what's fake and what's real anyways. But that's my thought. I'm talking too long, but that's just my energy towards it.
I mean, I get everybody's perspective. I just feel like our kids are doomed. I feel like, and not even necessarily our kids, but today's society of our youth is doomed because they're so consumed by what's trending right now. Just like you see how they do all these TikTok challenges and stuff like that. Do you know how many children die because they follow these TikTok challenges? Do you know how many adults die because they try to do these TikTok challenges? It's like, why can't you just, if you choose to have social media, look, hey, like a post here, there, you know what I mean? You don't necessarily have to partake in what you know is wrong. You know right from wrong. So why partake in something that's going to affect you, affect your family? Like Smile said, these kids ain't outside today. They're so socially awkward. It's ridiculous. When I was growing up, I was outside with my friends every day. We was jumping double dutch. We was going to the park. We was riding our bikes. These kids don't do that today. My kids, they didn't get phones until they were the age they are now, 15, 16. They didn't have no phones growing up because why? It ain't gonna do nothing but consume your mind. And yes, we monitor what they are, able to see, what interactions and all that stuff. So we're mindful of what our kids view. However, we're not with them 24/7. So they do use their friends' phones and things like that to watch shit that they shouldn't be watching. And it happens every day. It happens every day throughout the world. And I don't blame I ain't gonna solely blame the parent because yes, you should be mindful of, the company your friends keep, your children keep, and also be mindful of what they're doing on their phones. Maybe set limitations on, time frames for their phone so that they're not on TikTok at 3 o'clock in the morning trying to do a TikTok challenge. And then you find them in there suffocating or some shit. You know what I mean? Like, I couldn't fathom the thought of finding one of my kids non-responsive because they was trying to do a TikTok challenge. I'd probably lose my fucking mind. I don't want that for anybody. These social media has a huge influence on our youth. They don't know how to hold a conversation in person with friends or people for that matter because they're so consumed into their phones. It's like, what happens at dinner for Thanksgiving when you take your kid phone? Are they losing their shit? Or are they actually interacting with their cousins and stuff like that? Because mine interacting, they outside playing football, basketball, maybe even volleyball. But I know that's not for every family. And I know every family ain't like that. Kids be having a fit when you take their phone. And it's like, it's sad. It's truly sad. I feel it's truly sad that this is where we are in the world today, where technology has taken over. Kids don't even do homework on paper and pencil no more. It's all Chromebooks. I hate these fucking Chromebooks. Why does everything have to be so technical? It's like, I just don't understand. And I feel bad for them when they get into the age where they're now going into the workforce and have to socialize and interact with people. It's going to be so awkward for them and it's so hard. It's so uncomfortable because they're not used to doing that because they wasn't told go play outside with your brother and sister or go play with your cousins outside in the backyard or whatever. You know what I mean? Like, it's just sad. Oh,
Like, all y'all got good, valid points. But I'm listening to y'all about, about how it was when we were younger and how we used to be outside. Honestly, I don't want my son outside. I have sons. Our young Black men are being killed for no reason at all. They're being killed for outside playing with water guns. They're being killed for playing basketball with their friends. They're being killed for walking down the street to the store. You know, I'm a firm believer you pick and choose your battles with your kids. I much so rather my son be in the house playing his game for hours on end than to be running in the street and me get that phone call that no mom, no parent ever wants to get. Now, granted, I wish they had what we had as far as the socialization, being able to go to the playground and play at the park, but that's not today's reality. Like, nobody can go to the mall without being shot. You can't go to church without being shot. You can't go to the movies without being shot. Now our children are being shot in school. So like, I don't know. Like, we have a totally bigger problem here. And I'm sorry, I don't want my kids outside. I'd rather them be at home where I have more control. Yes, somebody can rob me, do this and do that, but I would have more control than being outside and being in a big building and somebody else running security and all of that. In my home, I run my own security. I know what's going on with my children and I check on them. I'm not waiting for somebody else to check on them. All them people, all them mass shootings, where was security at? Nobody could respond in time, even if they did respond. So I'm good with that. So I just wanted to say that because no, my kids are not going outside.
Yeah, I understand about you saying the kids going outside and how we used to go outside. Yeah, times are way, way, way different with kids going outside and not being taunted by law enforcement. Yes. Um, but some kids when they're outside, they I guess they're bored. And that's why they do like steal cars or vandalize property and stuff like that. And it's just I don't know. Like sometimes social media has an influence on that, but sometimes boredom has an influence on that. You know what I mean? They want to hang out with their friends, but oh, let's do this, or let's do that. And it's just like, well, well, are you thinking? Are the kids thinking like, oh, mommy or daddy don't want me doing that? Or, you know, I could get in trouble if I do things like this. Like, are they thinking when they're supposed to be thinking? Are they, I don't know. Like, I really think they should think before they act. And us as adults, we don't think before we act either. And then after we do it, we be like, oh man, I shouldn't have did it like that. But at the same token, kids they have to have that mindset where they are thinking before they react on certain things. Like if I get caught doing this, what could possibly happen to me if I'm outside doing things? Or if I mimic what I saw on TikTok, is my mother gonna feel like that's inappropriate or it's appropriate? Or if I mimic what I saw on YouTube, is they gonna feel like that's appropriate or that's inappropriate? I don't know. We're more open with our kids than our parents were with us. So I think our kids feel a little bit more freedom to do what they see other people do on TV and on social media, etc. I mean, what you think here?
I think that it's it's kind of hard, with me being a mother. Um, it's definitely hard. Like I agree with O, definitely with wanting to keep my kids close to me in house so that they aren't subject to racial profiling or anything like that. Because I too have a black son who I fear, like when he go ride his bike to the park and stuff, I'm scared. I am scared. And I'm not even only scared for him, I'm scared for my daughters too. So it's like no matter who you are as an African American in the United States today in this time in 2024, it's tough. It's tough being a parent and being a kid. Because when we was growing up, yeah, we had the freedom. We was able to walk around town and not have to worry about being pulled over by the cops because we were black and we had a hoodie on or whatever the case may be. Now it's like you can't do that. And it's sad that this is the world that we live in today. And yes, like Smiles was saying, social media can be a good thing because it does inform us of what the fuck is going on in the world. Because without social media, we probably wouldn't know a lot of what we do know today. Trayvon Martin, George Floyd, Sandra Bland, like we wouldn't know none of those names had it not been for social media. So I definitely agree. It's definitely informative depending on what you follow. However, when it comes to our kids having social media, I feel like when you go initially sign up for social media, they always say 13 or older. I feel like 13 is very young because their mind is still developing. I feel like it should be at least 16 because they're in high school. They have a sense of common sense. So I feel like maybe they need to adjust that age to where they're saying a 13-year-old is allowed to have a TikTok or Instagram or Facebook or whatever. No, because this is a lot of who's harming themselves because they can't handle negative comments or the cyberbullying and things like that. So they do commit suicide. And it's heartbreaking to see that shit. It's extremely heartbreaking to see that shit on a daily basis. Extremely. But if social media was to raise the age of, allowing kids in, I think it wouldn't be as bad. Smiles?
Um, I agree what everybody is saying to a certain point. Now, I don't want to come off cold hearted or I guess nonchalant or whatever, but I think we are forgetting that back in the days was horrible as well. It was never safe for kids. It wasn't safe for us. Especially I'ma speak personally. I was born and raised in New York. Do you know what I had to walk past, what I had to smell just going to the corner store? I mean, granted, people are killing themselves. They was killing themselves back in the day too. Black kids was dying too. Have we forgotten that? So to say, oh, I'm gonna keep my kids inside, sure, that's a band-aid to a big situation. Keeping them inside is only gonna do what? Then no one in this world should have kids. There's people popping up pregnant every hour of the hour. If this world is so, 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 so horrible, then no one, everybody should be using plan B at this point. Because it's never been safe. Never. It's just more open because this world has lost character. So let's talk about the people because guess what? We could talk about what society does to kids all day long. How about the grown ass adults that lose themselves in fucking social media where they should know better? Adults is following adults. The blind is leading the blind. It starts with us. It was never safe for children to be outside at the court playing basketball, but we was. We was riding our bikes to the next towns, the next borough. We was riding trains with homeless people on there, people coming on the trains boosting. Life was never safe. And guess what? These kids on these game systems, don't you know that is war with that as well? Y'all haven't heard of that yet? Where there's people on headsets talking shit to each other to the point that they're sharing each other's addresses and then they're going up to the person and beating them up or stabbing them or shooting them just because they killed you in freaking GTA? Have we forgotten that? How ugly life is, period. What are we going to do? Build up a panic room and stay in there? Life is going to happen. And I stand tall on it. It starts with the parents. I'm not going to keep my kids inside because this world is a mess. This world has always been a mess. Always. It's never been easy. There's been pimps, drug lords all around these cities and states for God knows how long. There's always been shootouts in schools, Columbine shooting. Have we forgotten that? Yes, this world is maybe worse compared to us, but it's always been horrible. There's never a time that it was safe walking around New York City. It's never been safe. But we had to do what we had to do. And your parents stirred you in the right direction if you had one. And if you didn't have one, the streets taught you to wisen on up. You was being taught by somebody. And I'm not saying, hey, throw your kids to the wolves. Absolutely not. But there's stuff on game systems. If you have not watched or played the game GTA, there's strip clubs in GTA. There's cursing in GTA. There's drugs selling in GTA. You're breaking in people's cars in GTA. I just feel like there's negative and positive with every freaking thing. I mean, it's up to us to teach our kids the right way, and it's up for them. It's up to them to listen or learn the hard way. But social media is not going nowhere. It's only going to get worse from here on out. So imagine when y'all have grandkids. What's finna happen? That's all I have to say.
I completely agree. I definitely agree, especially with, the world has never been a safe place. You could live in the best neighborhood in New York, New Jersey, Washington, Baltimore, like no matter where you're from, Ohio, you know, you could live in the best neighborhood possible and things still happen. Absolutely. The world is still going to do what the world is going to do. And like you said, it's up to the parents to teach their children. Absolutely. I don't shelter my children and say, no, it's not safe outside, stay in a house 24/7. Absolutely not. I want them to experience being a kid, being able to play in the park, being able to ride their bike or hang out with their friends at the mall. I want them to have those life experiences because you're only a kid once, you're only an adult once. Shit, I mean, we grow every year. I just be scared because you never know what the fuck can happen. Even if your child has a great group of friends who ain't into shit, you know what I mean? You never know who they may come across. You just never know. So it's like, no, I don't shelter my kids. Yes, my kids go hang out and you know they be kids. I want that for them. They want that for them. So yes, I I definitely don't feel the need to shelter them or keep them from society because that's only going to affect them in the long run. I believe they're definitely going to become socially awkward if they're only homebodies. Now, will I force them to go outside? No. They don't want to go outside, they ain't gonna go outside. But there are gonna be days where they're gonna be like, oh, can I go to the park with my friends? Or whatever. Cool, go ahead. Just be home when you're supposed to be home. And they do. As long as you teach your kid right from wrong, what to do, what not to do, and give them scenarios and how to respond and react in certain scenarios, you're educating them on what's going on right now in today's society. We can't say like, when we were growing up, it wasn't none of this because like Smile said, it was. We just wasn't aware of it. We just didn't know about it because we didn't have that platform that informed us of those things aside from the news. The news wasn't, I mean, the news is everywhere, but it wasn't catching every story. So now that we have social media, we have these platforms to where we literally know what's going on in every fucking state and country around the clock because of these platforms. So it's definitely keeping us aware. So that's definitely a good aspect of having social media. However, if you teach your kid, the children, or what have you, like the real of social media, the fakes of social media, it won't have such an impact or an influence on them, I believe. I'm not sure if anybody else has anything to say. If you do, the floor is definitely open to you.
No, I
I
agree.
honestly,
Oh, my bad. Go ahead. Oh,
I honestly believe that social media is the least of our problems. Um,
for sure.
I totally agree with Smiles. And, yeah, a child shouldn't be kept in the home 24/7. And, that's not what I want for my children, but I don't want what I see on the TV for them.
Right.
And I'd rather have more control than not have control. When they're outside, I have less control. You know,
Yeah.
my 17-year-old brother-in-law was murdered. He was a good boy. His mother sheltered him. And then when she finally let him out and he's staying at a friend's house, he went outside to answer the door for his friend and he lost his life. I don't have to go into all the details, but my point is no matter what we teach our kids, no matter what we tell them, no matter what, something still can happen. That is my fear every day. So if it's a mistake for me to keep my kids in the house, then so fucking be it. Because I rather live with that nightmare than to live with the nightmare of my phone ringing saying something happened to one of my babies. Because my life's over then.
Yeah.
They are my life. And no, I don't do everything right as a parent. There's no handbook as a parent. But at the end of the day, my job is to try to protect them the best way I know how. And for me, in my life and what I seen coming up, what I see today, I'm all set. My son, he goes out, he's 15. I let him go out. But the whole time he's gone, I'm worried. But I don't believe in being that parent to ride my kids back. I want my sons to know how to survive. Mommy's not always going to be around. So I don't call him 24/7, but you best believe I know where he's located. And I'm scared. And I hate when my phone rings because I get an instant attitude because I'm afraid of what the phone call might be. But I definitely agree. But I mean, as a parent, like how many choices do we have? Like, what do we do? How do we protect our kids? Because at the end of the day, you know, when they go out, it's them that make choices.
Yeah.
Yeah, you hope that whatever you teach them, they listen to you and they apply that with their steps.
For sure.
But in all honesty, we're all individuals, including our children. So they make a lot of choices themselves. And again, my brother-in-law was minding his business. This is the problem I have. I'm talking about the children that are not doing anything. They're innocent. Ain't nothing wrong with them playing no game, hanging out with their friends, but they can't. Social media is not safe. What's wrong with them watching other kids dance and learn a dance move? Everything is toxic. So what are we supposed to do? So I get what Smile's saying, but what we supposed to keep them from TV too? We supposed to keep them from outside, keep them from everywhere. I don't know, but my choice and what I feel like I have power over is if my son wants to be home playing the game, then I'd rather him be home playing the game than to be
For
out in the
sure.
street.
I
Absolutely.
agree. I mean, whew, I'm not, saying, like I said before, I'm not saying throw your kids outside, force them to go outside. Absolutely not. I just feel like it's danger everywhere. And
Hmm.
it's sad because, especially being older and being through what I've been through, I understand why my mother was so firm with me, why she was so hard on me growing up, and why she wanted me to be um independent and represent her teachings while I was not underneath her care, because I feel like most parents, and it's not the parents' fault all the way, because half of the parents are single parents, so you can't be everywhere at one time. However, I feel like parents should instill in their kids to have the strength and the courage to stand alone.
Hmm.
Like, to understand that it's okay to be alone. It's okay to not go against your character for friends. It's okay to be who you are and love yourself in spite of. No matter if someone calls you this or that because you're not doing what they're doing. So the fuck what?
Right.
Whoever's meant to be in your life will be in your life. And I don't think people are teaching their children these things.
Mm-hmm.
Because these
Mm-hmm.
kids should not be afraid to stand alone. These kids should not be afraid to say no. They say yes when they really want to say no. That's not okay.
Nope.
When you have a child and your child is for sure in themselves and they're able to stand alone, I think that most parents, good parents, will worry less. You know what I mean? I mean, we're always going to worry about these children. That's never going to stop, no matter what age and no matter what. I just feel like it's a lot of kids following kids for no reason, just leading them down to hell, and no one is bold enough to fucking say no. So I feel like, you know, and rightfully so, we can teach our kids anything, and they will do the opposite. Absolutely. But they also have to be strong enough and ballsy enough to accept the consequences as well. Because it comes to a time when kids do grow up and they can't say, oh, my mommy, it's my mom's or my dad's fault, my grandma's fault. No, it comes to a point in life where it's your fault
Yep.
because I taught you what I needed to teach you. You just didn't take heed to it. Well, now it's out of my hands.
Right.
So parents can't be too hard on themselves. They just have to be the best parent that they know how to be. Because like Kia said, you could teach them whatever you want to teach them, but they have to learn for themselves.
Yes.
They have to know, hey, just because social media is doing it, that don't mean I gotta do it.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I'm saying? We had to learn that though, growing up as well. We had to learn that. We up here following our friends, some of us, and then boom, your friend could got away with murder, and now you commit a murder. And now you're doing 25 to life. I mean, everything doesn't fit everybody.
Okay.
Like, let's be real. And everybody is not built for the same consequences. So learn thyself. And I'm firm with that. Learn who the hell you are. Learn who you are and keep the people that, if you don't want drama in your life, then keep people around you that don't like drama as well. I just feel like like people need to pick better friends as well too. And
Sure.
I mean, I don't know. I feel like this is a damned if you do, damned if you don't situation because no matter what, we always going to worry about these kids. And these kids have to, learn to worry about themselves and be overprotective of themselves as well and not be careless. But we all are going to make mistakes. But yeah, of course, protect your kids as much as you can. I mean, that's just how I see it because social media is letting the world know what's really, really going on. And it's trifling. This world is trifling. There's no
For
way
sure.
around that,
It's
and,
only
and,
getting worse.
and it is right. And it's only getting worse. So, I mean, it's scary out here. But until people stop having kids, people is going to worry. I mean, I don't know. I don't think we could get out of this social media shit. I don't think so. I
I
don't
think
know.
honestly, like that ain't even, the realistic of things for people to stop having kids. People are gonna still have kids. It's all
This
about,
world is
how
horrible,
you
and people still busting them out. Like it's like this world ain't.
for sure. Like people
Yeah.
are still gonna have kids, and it all, in all honesty, it's like how you raise your children. When your kids go outside, they should know that they are a reflection of you. And they should know, like you said, stand on your own. You shouldn't have to want or need the approval of your friends just so that you can hang out with them or whatever the case may be. You should never, I personally should never have to have a conversation with my son to say, you know I know you're out here riding your bikes with your friends, but don't let them get you into trouble. Because my son, and where I live, he's the only African American boy in the little bike crew that rides their bikes around town. So I shouldn't have to reiterate to my son on multiple occasions when he going outside to be like, please don't follow them. Like if they in some bullshit, turn the other way, come back home. Or I shouldn't have to do that. My son should know how to do that. because I've taught him well enough to know that. You know what I mean? Like, no matter what color or who he hang out with, he should know if you riding with, your friends and they up to no good and up to some bullshit, bring your ass home because you know better. Because I refuse to answer the door for a cop to say, oh, my son in the back of the car because he was caught up in some bullshit. Because he know better. So you do better when you know better. You know what I mean? So it's like, these are conversations I should never have to have with my son. And I don't. Because I'm raising him to know right from wrong, what to do, what not to do. And I can only hope that he's listening to me and taking heed to what I'm saying, because he is also aware of what's going on in the world today. Because to my surprise, they share things like this in school with them when it comes to, like, the school shootings and a child dying by the hand of a cop and things like that. So they're aware and they're smarter than we think. So they know. It's all a matter of if they act on it the right way. I just feel like times is changing and it ain't getting no better. And it's not only social media, it's society, it's the community, it's the environment, it's everything. But social media does have a huge impact and influence on our children's lives.
Yeah, I
And whether
agree.
we believe it or not, like, just because your kid ain't on social media in your face don't mean that when they hang out with their friends, they ain't looking up YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, TikTok. Like, they know what's going on. They may not be doing it in front of you, but they're doing it. They're smarter than we think. 100%. And we tend to underestimate them and not realize that it's a different generation, it's a different time, and they're a different breed. But that's here nor there. That could be another conversation. Do anybody else have anything to say?
I think I'm good. I think, we said a lot. So what I guess what the question is,
Mhm.
yes, social media is horrible with this generation, or or are we biased to it?
I wouldn't say I'm biased. I'm like you. I'm 50-50. It definitely has its negative impact on our kids, but it also has a positive impact in the aspect of making us aware.
Right.
So I would definitely say I'm 50-50 for sure. Or
Yeah, I'll
maybe
say
75,
50-50.
25. Who knows?
50-50.
We all 50-50 in it, like.
Right. All right, that's cool. Okay, well, this was definitely a great conversation. I'm glad that I brought forth this topic because I definitely think it's something that we should have spoken about because it is happening on a daily basis. Everybody logs into their, Instagram, TikTok every day, scroll through and see what's going on. So I definitely think it's something that was worth talking about. And I appreciate everybody's opinion. I thank you all for being honest and open. And until next time, guys, we will see you for our next episode, which I'm excited for and look forward to. Have a good evening, guys.
Deuces.
Deuces.